This video starts about 10 minutes into a session that I had this morning, 14 July 2022, with a dog named Nellie Mae. Now, Nellie Mae is a dog that was recently acquired by the guys. Their previous dog, Maggie Mae, passed away suddenly, and they replaced the dog shortly thereafter with this dog, Nellie Mae. I've had Nellie Mae now for just about a month. The first time I met Nellie Mae, she was extremely frightened of me, and so we have been working now since that time with getting her used to other human beings and having her more comfortable, so that ultimately the goal is that she'll be able to go out for walks and enjoy life as a dog. So this particular video then would be probably the third time now that we have started this exercise. Would have been the first time that I met Nellie Mae, at which time she was in the house. All she did was run, hide in the bedroom, bark at me, just trying to do anything else with her besides that just was not an option. So after the initial visit with the guys, I told them that the next time I came, what I wanted them to do was to have Nellie Mae already in their back patio area, which is fenced off with a 6-foot privacy fence, and then just really a concrete patio back there, and some rocks along the fence line of dirt, which is where Nellie Mae will go to the bathroom when they let her out of the house. But that way, she's already in the confined area. There's no place for her where she can go and hide, and so I will just go straight to the back patio area after I enter the house, and Nellie Mae's already there. So there's no way that she can hide from my presence. She is going to have to face the reality of me being there. And so now working with the proximity exercise to get her used to me, get her used to the idea of having a stranger around, and having her now relax and accept me into her life. And so the purpose of the exercise, the next time I came, I just basically, she was already there in the backyard, went out to the farthest extremity that I had in the patio area. I took a seat and just basically sat there for the time of the session and just allowed her to act as she wanted to, which in this case she pretty much growled, barked, and did everything else at me for the a good half of the period before she finally settled down and began to just kind of pace around, just apprehensively, but her barking at that had stopped. And if treats were way up to the other end of the patio section, she would eat them. So that was there. And then the next time I went, a little bit better, barked a little bit, but not quite as much. And so you saw some signs of improvement. And then the next time, I don't believe she barked at all that time, but she wasn't real comfortable. She wasn't going to try to approach me, but I could throw treats farther away from me, but not leave them at the complete opposite end, which is probably 50 feet, I would imagine, in distance in that patio area. And say at 25 feet, she'd come and get them, but I would be at the other end. And so each week I'm looking to move her comfort zone slightly. My philosophy is that I want the dog to make the conscious decision themselves for the action that they're going to take. I already know what it is that I'm looking at. What I'm looking at is Nellie Mae is not happy with strange humans in her life. She's frightened of them for whatever reason that is. That's just the way it is. She's not comfortable with strangers. Um, Now, apparently, the guys, their granddaughter, when she comes over and she sits on the floor, um, she'll play Nellie Mae. Nellie Mae will sit there and play with her and engage with her, and no problem at all. So you take that into account that in this case, this presence of a small child does not upset her. So in this case, that does not cause her the anxiety. Now, there's a lot of reasons that can come into that. She may view the child either as an equal or as an inferior, or she just doesn't regard the child as a threat. So it's just a piece of who Nellie Mae is, and you file it away. Obviously, in my case, she does take me as being a threat, even though there's no threat there. That is being in the presence of a friendly stranger is actually one of the tests for the AKC Canine Good Citizen test, and there's reason for it because this type of fear in the dog is an unreasonable reaction to a normal stimulus. There's no reason for it. There's no threat. It's the same thing as when an owner's going to tell me, don't mind my dog. My dog is just really protective of me. Well, how is that? Well, if a stranger happens to be around me or something, my dog will really start to react and really start to bark and really get agitated. And then I always want to ask the question, well, tell me then, what is the threat? Well, there's no threat. It's just, a person was close to me. Yeah, I understand. What was the threat? Was the person trying to stab you with a knife, hit you with a pipe? What was the threat? And my point being, there wasn't a threat. It's an unreasonable reaction to a normal, everyday stimulus. So I try to let the owners know it's just fear. The dog is uncomfortable, and the actions that the dog is taking. In this case, if she's in the house with me, she's trying to go to another area. She's trying to find a safe space, or she's going to bark and she's going to growl because she's learned that if I perform these behaviors, human beings will leave me alone, and that's what I want. I want them away from me because they frighten me. It's nothing more than that. Now what we're actually watching is we're back on the patio. Yeah, I know it's an exciting video. That's why I decided to do this with the, come back with it on the screen recorder so I could voice over what it was we were listening to, because this doesn't look real exciting. And if you didn't have sounding voice, you'd say, well, what exactly am I looking at? What we're looking at is I'm seated in the patio, which seating is a non-threatening attitude for the dog. So very casual, non-threatening, no sudden movements. Really, I'm trying to keep my body as still as possible so the dog can perceive that there's no threat, that there's nothing to be wary of. Because if I move suddenly or my arm will move, she'll all of a sudden stop to assess what it is that I'm doing. So in this case, I'm sitting there, I'm not paying attention to the dog. I am, but in a way that it doesn't appear that I'm giving the dog any thought, so that the dog reacts, but I can still see what the dog's actions are, because it's going to be what the dog's actions are that are going to communicate to me what the dog is actually thinking. You'll see me throw the treats out over to the right there in the lower corner. You see the rock I was using as the marker. That rock was about 18 inches from where I was seated. So the dog was coming within 18 inches of me now, as opposed to, say, 25 feet to retrieve the treat. And the treats I'm using are primarily pepperoni and
okay.
After that, some
You ready?
Now at this point, we're getting ready to go back in the house. We're done now. Like I say, we started
Is my
about
girl
10 minutes
ready?
in on a 20-minute session.
I know, buddy.
The
Come
dog
on.
was already in the back. And it just shows what her actions were. I was working on getting her to come as close to me as possible without. Now I'm going to talk to the owners
Nellie.
about the dog. You'll see she's not wanting to come in because I'm standing right next to the opening of the door. I'm holding the door open for her because I want her to pass my body. And because I know that it makes her uncomfortable to do that.
Nellie, come on back. Let's go back. Come on, let's go back. Come on, he's not going to bother you. Come on,
I don't care for the owners doing the encouragement because I'm doing the training and they're not understanding. They're begging the dog to do something. I'm not begging the dog to do something. The dog must make a decision. If the dog wants to stay outside, fine. I know she doesn't.
Here you go. Good girl.
There.
See, she has to make the choice. Now she says she doesn't want to come in. Okay, I respect that. You don't have to. You want to stay outside? You can stay outside. But I know she wants to come in. But she has to make the decision because when she makes the decision, she'll lock it in herself. And that she has, it's important. I make her do it, it's never going to stick. When she makes the conscious decision that it's okay, I'm just going to go in the door, then she's going to lock it in and she's going to get over her fear of doing that, at least within this group. Doesn't mean it's going to happen for everybody. But as far as we are, it's going to lock it in where you'll be able to work with her, I'll be able to work with her, and she'll do well. Whether she's ever going to fully socialize for everybody, maybe not.
She does her daughter and her now real well socializing.
Because she's comfortable with them and she's used to them.
She gets down on the floor, her daughter sits down with her.
But she does, well, she should do that with everybody.
Yeah.
But for whatever her life experience is that she's learned, she's very untrusting of strangers.
Oh, yeah.
And so she has to learn and accept the people.
Well, is she doing pretty good?
Oh, yeah. There's a rock out there that I'm using as my measurement, and we're still working on proximity training in that. One, the first time I went, I just go back there and have a seat, and I'm there. She knows I'm there, and I know she's not comfortable with it. I can look at her body language. She's not comfortable that I'm there, but as we continue to work on the exercise, and she gets more, I know who this person is, and now I'm trying to draw her in closer to me right now. And the next step is right now, no farther than here to the corner of that rug. So that's maybe 18 inches, maybe 2 feet.
Right.
I can throw one of her favorite treats on the ground, and she will come and get it. She prefers pepperoni. She loves pepperoni, and she likes those. I think those might be the generic brand of the pepperoni. It might be the bacon strips, but she likes those. I know consistently she will come and get that, and you can watch her when she's walking around. She'll see it. She knows it's there, but she knows it's close to me. Now she's got to overcome. Which do I want more? Which motivates me more? Which one is the one that's kicking my drive in? Is it to come and get the treat that I really, 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 really want, or my fear of a person that is just sitting down doing absolutely nothing? And she will come and get it. Now, ultimately, the next step will be that I will continue to get her until she's getting the treat, literally right at my feet, where instead of it being on the ground at my feet, now I'm going to raise my hand up and I'm going to hold out one that's a little longer, and she'll take it from my hand. As she does that and then consistently will do that, now I can start to put my hand on her, start to pet her, let her feel my energy, let her feel, because dogs are going to pick that up through, the tone and voice, when you use tone and voice with the dog, it can have a lot of influence on the dog because dogs understand they are masters at reading body language. They're also master manipulators, but they are masters at reading and interpreting language. That's how they interact with each other. They look at how their body language is between each other. There are signals that they send to each other when they do it. And my girl, yes, she is. She's a happy girl. So, yes, she's improving. As I was sitting there thinking, I said, I had a dog just like her. Now, I was never asked to work with her, and so she never moved beyond that stage because that's not what the owners ever asked. My job was just to come and feed them and change the water, and pretty much she stayed outside. She really would not, it was a battle for her to come in the house. And if she chose not to, then she would just stay outside in the backyard all night. And the choice was entirely up to hers. Later, they changed where she would stay at, and eventually we could at least get her inside. But it was a real process. And I did not see her consistently. But with Nellie, I know she's got a happy smile. Look at my girl. But she, because I will be working with her twice a week and come in here and we'll do the same exercises, she will adapt, she will get used to it, and then we will move on. But when we get to the point then that I can hook her up, the next step after she get hooked up on a lead, I'll be sitting there and she'll be on a lead and she'll get comfortable with that, and then we'll just get up and we'll walk around in this back area so she gets used to, we're doing that. And then the same thing that we did before with Maggie May is we'll just go out here and we'll just do a little walk in front of the house, and then eventually we'll use this side street here where there's not much traffic. And that really is all that it is. But it's a process. But she shows improvement every single time, and that's all you can ask for.
She's coming out nearer to you now.
Well, yeah. When I go in the backyard with her now, she's not. The first time she was barking and barking and barking and barking and barking, and I just didn't pay her any attention and just went and sat down. At the opposite distance. I gave her the entire area for safety, and all I did was calmly sit there and go about my activities. Just didn't even pay her attention. Well, she stopped barking at me, and then the next time she didn't bark as much, and then, now I go out back there, and she doesn't bark near as much. So, and now she doesn't bark at all. So, so we've got that improvement. But she's still not comfortable when I'm back there because she's not, but she will. I know, buddy. Come on, Maggie. But, you watch her tail, you watch her carriage. The tail is tucked in behind her. It's not raised. It's not wagging. She's looking for her safety spaces. She's trying to figure out, what do I do if there's a problem? But she's showing improvement each and every time, and that's all you have to have. She's going to reach the point where we will go out for a walk. Now, that's a whole nother thing walking, because understand, now you're moving to another environment that you're not comfortable with. That's why we use this particular street, because it will be quiet. There won't be a lot of distractions, because we're going to have to figure out what are the things that energize her different drives. Because, for a long time, Maggie May did not like vehicles at all. Vehicle went by and she was going to start moving. Okay, she didn't like other people. She didn't like to get close. But eventually, I could take her. We'd walk down to Norwood Park, and at the end, we could walk any place we wanted to go walk. She just went out, and we just went out and did a normal walk. And she learned to be a dog. Okay, well, that's what it is. The only thing Nellie's going to find out is, hey, it's okay to be a dog. I can enjoy life as I was meant to be. I'm going to be a dog. And that's what a dog is supposed to do.
I can see just
so
what you're saying there, step by step.
Well, yeah, it's all a process.
Yeah.
But the most important thing on the process, I don't care what you're trying to change. The person, the dog, whatever it is, whoever is making the change has to make up their mind to make the change. I can make you do it. Sure, I can make you do it. I can throw a slip collar on you and I can cinch her down tight so you can't get out, and I can drag you down the street and you got no choice. You're either going to drag on the ground or, okay, that will accomplish zero. As a matter of fact, they may tolerate it up to a point, but eventually they're going to reject that altogether, and you will do more damage than you ever did. It has to be done positively, and more importantly, it's important. They have to make the decision themselves. When they make the decision, they take ownership of the decision, and it's reinforced, and they are going to accept it then. It's going to ingrain, and then it's the repetition of doing it over and over and over without it. The example I use is when I went in the Army, one of the things I did when I was in the Army was I was a paratrooper. Okay, now, people will find it funny that I will tell them that I was a paratrooper and jumped out of airplanes.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I don't like, I don't like heights.
Yeah.
I don't like heights. I get up above about eight feet or so in the air on a ladder or something, and I'm not a comfortable person.
Yeah.
I'm at one of these railings, and where you're looking down over a building. Oh, okay, I'm not a comfortable person. No. And they'll say, well, how did you do that? And I said, well, I knew on my back was a parachute and that I was going to be safe. If I have a tether connect to me so I know I'm not going to fall, okay, I'm great. I can walk up to the edge of that because I know I'm going to be safe. But I still, even then, I had fear of jumping out of that airplane.
Yeah.
And so what I would do is everything that went. They were amazed that I had so little time in the division and I had so many jumps under my belt, because the way to get over that was I continued to everything. I mean, I was jumping 1, 2, 3 times a week for, a year.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, I'm having, close to 40 parachute jumps, and other people that got there when I did are sitting there at, maybe 9 jumps. And, they're trying to call me the cherry, and cherry being the new person in the unit that's inexperienced. I turn around and say, who you calling cherry? Cherry? They said, when did you get here? How many jumps you got? They'd say, I got 10, I got 11. I said, really? I got 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I got that. I'll move it on back and talk to somebody else. But see, I did it because I knew the only way to reinforce it and to be able to stay competent and be confident was to continue to do it over and over and over and over and over again. And the more times that Maggie goes out with uneventful experiences, she'll begin to accept and enjoy what she's doing. And so she's making great progress. Caesar will have his own thing when he talks about working with the dogs. And, when Caesar says he's not a dog trainer, he's a dog psychologist. Well, yeah, people didn't really understand that, but it really does have a meaning. But in Maggie's case, where Caesar talks about it, he says he doesn't really tell people the 2 other ingredients to his method, which works, and it is a good method. It absolutely is. You never tell people so they don't have an unreal expectation. Time, and time. Okay, this isn't a TV show. This ain't the Brady Bunch. Mike Brady and Carol Brady didn't solve the family crisis in that half-hour segment with commercials. Okay, and Maggie is not going to overcome all of her problems in a 20-minute visit. Now, is it going to take 20 years? No. I would imagine I think it was about 3.5 months, and Maggie May was up to speed and perfect. Will she be there? No. But I would be very much surprised if within the next couple of months we're not out at least walking along this side street maybe.
You hear that, Billy?
So that's where I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
A couple of months and she'll be out.
Well, I'm hoping.
Well,
I'm hoping.
But that gives hope to us, yeah.
But she is going to. I mean, don't think that she's not. She's going to. There is nothing that I see in her temperament. In fact, as I look at it, that she is an extremely good dog with a very good temperament. She just for whatever reason, and I don't know. See, I tell people all the time, I can make up 1,000,001 stories about why Maggie is who Nellie is.
Right.
Okay, and none of them can be valid because unless you really know, see, with Maggie May, you knew what her background was.
Right.
But unless you actually know what Nellie's life experience was, then I can tell you any story in the world. The only thing that I know to be true, and so this is why I always say it this way, whatever it was that shaped Maggie's experience and her behaviors today are the behaviors she learned to survive in a human society. She found that if I do this in a human society, if I behave this way, I get what every other living being wants. Peace, happiness, security, fulfillment. Okay? And most importantly, she's looking for her safety. And that's all it is. She's just now going to learn a new set of behaviors. She's going to learn that her new circumstances allow her to develop and grow and to feel safe and secure and then move on and do what I ultimately want. I'm going to live my life like a dog. And let me tell you, that's the best way to live a life as a dog because they don't waste one single minute with none of the foolishness. They enjoy it for their entire life. I tell people it's sad to lose a dog. But I'm telling you right now, you could take comfort in one thing. You provided the best home possible for your dog. You gave your dog love, enjoy, a happy life. You made sure that your dog had everything it needed so that it could be a dog and enjoy that life. And I'm telling you, the dog expresses gratitude because it lived its life to the absolute fullest. And you gave the dog the opportunity. And she's going to get that. So we'll be back again on Tuesday. But she's making great progress. She is, don't think she's not, she is. It takes time. But look at the smile on her face. Yes, you are. You're a good girl.
And so there it was. That was the completion of the training session.